All right, let's talk about something that's literally all around us, things that wiggle, swing, and vibrate. This is the world of oscillation, and it's the hidden physics behind everything from a kid on a playground swing to the radio signals that are flying through the air right now. Let's jump in.
So it all starts with this really simple question. You've been on a swing, right? You know that feeling when the push comes at the perfect time and you just fly? Well, that's not magic. It's pure physics. And by the end of this, you're going to know exactly how it works.
Okay, so to really get this, we've got to start in a perfect world. Imagine a world with no friction, no air getting in the way. In that world, if you pushed a swing once, it would just keep going forever. Physicists call this perfect, never-ending rhythm simple harmonic motion. Now, the big rule in this perfect little world is that no energy is ever lost. The total amount stays exactly the same. All it does is change its costume, swapping back and forth between two different types. And this is where the cool part happens, this constant energy trade-off. Picture it. At the very bottom of the swing's path, you're moving at your absolute fastest. That's max kinetic energy, the energy of motion. But as you swing all the way up to the top, you pause for just a split second. At that moment, all your motion energy has been transformed into potential energy, stored up just because of how high you are. Then, whoosh, as you fall, it all converts right back into speed again, on and on. But yeah, we don't live in a perfect world. In the real world, swings stop. Things run out of steam. Why? Because the real world has an enemy of motion, a force that's always trying to bring everything to a grinding halt. So let's meet our villain, damping. Damping is basically an energy thief. Every single time that swing cuts through the air, it's losing a tiny bit of its energy to air resistance. The chains are rubbing, creating friction. All that energy is leaking out of the system, usually as heat, and so each swing gets just a little bit shorter, until it stops.
And get this, there are actually different kinds of damping. Light damping is our swing slowly winding down. Heavy damping is like one of those hydraulic arms on a heavy door. It just slowly, smoothly closes without ever swinging back and forth. But the really interesting one is critical damping. That's the engineer's dream. It brings something to a stop in the fastest possible time without overshooting at all, which is exactly what you want for a sensitive measuring tool. So, if damping is the problem, always trying to steal our swing's energy, what's the solution? Well, it's simple. We just have to put the energy back in. And that brings us to the idea of forced oscillations.
This is exactly what it sounds like. It's when an outside force, like a person pushing, keeps adding energy to the system. And here's the kicker. The swing gives up its own natural rhythm and starts to follow the beat of the person who's pushing it. The external force takes over. And this is so important to understand. We're constantly pumping in energy to fight off that energy thief, damping. The timing is now totally controlled from the outside. But this leads to the most crucial point of all. How high the swing actually goes completely depends on the timing of those pushes. And this, right here, is where things get really amazing. We know the timing of the push matters, but what happens when that timing isn't just good? What happens when it's perfect? Well, that's when we unlock a powerful phenomenon called resonance. I mean, really think about that for a second. Every single object, whether it's a swing set, a bridge, or a wine glass, has a natural frequency that it wants to vibrate at. So what happens when our pushes from the outside sync up perfectly with that built-in rhythm? The answer is resonance. When the pushing frequency hits that natural frequency, the height of the swing, its amplitude, suddenly skyrockets. That's the secret. A bunch of tiny, perfectly timed pushes can achieve something way bigger than one giant, clumsy shove could ever do. It all comes down to being incredibly efficient. Resonance is the point of maximum energy transfer. Every last bit of energy from each push gets added to the swing's motion perfectly, building on the last push and creating this huge amplification of energy. And you might be thinking, okay, swings, got it. But this is everywhere, seriously. When you tune your radio, you're adjusting a circuit inside to resonate with the exact frequency of that one station you want to hear. A microwave oven bombards your food with waves at a frequency that resonates with water molecules, making them vibrate like crazy and heat up. We've built our entire world on this principle. Okay, let's pull the camera back a bit. So far, we've been looking at one thing swinging back and forth. But what happens when that vibrating energy decides to travel? Well, that's when an oscillation grows up and becomes a wave. Now, this might be the most important thing to get about waves. They move energy, not stuff. Think about ripples on a pond. The water itself isn't actually flowing from the center to the edge. No way. Each little water molecule is just bobbing up and down in its spot, passing the energy along to its neighbor.
So, those are the golden rules of wave motion. The particles wiggle in place, but the energy itself travels forward. And just like our swing, the motion is repeating, it's periodic, and that pattern is what allows energy to be carried over huge distances.
And you see this all over the place, right? The sound that you're hearing right now, that's just a wave of energy traveling through oscillating air particles. The light coming from the sun is an electromagnetic wave. It's all the same principle, energy traveling through oscillations.
So, we've seen how these perfectly timed pushes, this resonance, can be harnessed to create incredible things, from music to communications. But that leaves us with one final, kind of a chilling thought. If resonance can amplify tiny pushes into massive swings, what happens when that same incredible power is applied to something much, much bigger? And it goes unchecked. It's a force that's powerful enough to build our world, but also powerful enough to shake it right to its very foundations.